From where the hell are you guys coming from? Is this cause the Conclave button is close to the Stealth button on Chin? And you guys got curious about it and for the first time, found out PvP exists in this PvE 99% game? LOL, I'm legit curious about it, so leave a comment saying how you found it out. And welcome. I clearly gonna need alcohol for this shit.
If Dia can remove Zos from Conclave, why not the Telos Boltace?
Yes. Doing something about Telos Boltace is a very needed improvement. It's not the only problematic weapon, but the others are much more manageable.
Now that is a good start.
This is the gimmick of this weapon and it has a cooldown. It's balanced just like every other popular weapon. If you want to play Conclave, just get good at counter instead of trying to waste the dev's time to compensate for your skill. With this mentality, Death should remove everything except Excalibur with MK1 Bratton in Conclave.
Well, Mr. Get Good, I don't think that is a good mentality either. After all, you haven't been played PvP as much as someone who legit enjoys it.
If anyone here needs to get good, it is you.
No, we are just going to start with Telos Boltace, then maybe slowly work through the pile of cheese that got introduced since the old blood. It wasn't like it is now before that. You know? I'd wager you don't.
Telos Boltace can be used to knock players off the map, resulting in them getting stuck, not respawning for a long time. It's obviously a bug, and not intended to work this way.
So as you can probably tell, Telos Boltace used to cause some knockdown only. But after Old Blood update, it got f***ed up really good. Just check how long it will take for me to get back into Arena after being launched out of boundaries by a Telos Boltace user.
You know, the Conclave would work if they makes it more enticing to players. I have some ideas. 1. They could give players better incentives instead of just mods and skins. 2. They could offer a prize pool system where players can place wagers into the prize pool. 3. They could offer normally hard to find stuff as prizes for players to get. Now, I know the third one kind of makes players lazy, but the drop chances of many rare items are so low that players would jump at any opportunity to grab these items. I know I would.
That would force people to play, not make it better. And it would still die. Guild Wars 2 had a decent PvP community and it had 0 rewards. Thing is, frames aren't built to be balanced, so PvP is just nonsense. For something to be playable, the first thing it needs to be fun. Rewards is bad because people will go for just that rather than going for the actual content, and once they got it they will stop playing. Anything that's solely built around rewards only has a temporary lifespan. So yay, I hope DE does it listen to people like you.
1. PvP exclusive incentives are bound to piss off the core player base of Warframe, who generally want nothing to do with Conclave. I have already seen the rage on the forums about it before. 2. Maybe not the best idea considering the overall gaming scene's thoughts and changes to regulations going on with loot boxes and gambling in video games.
I'm not even going to talk about Rivens.
Particularly if you are talking plat. 3. Might work, but I feel like you are underestimating the disdain this community has for Conclave.
Rivens. But yeah, gambling be bad. Lol.
Real talk. PvP is played by less than 1% of the player base. DA has already plugged way more resources into that mode than they ever should have. Conclaves are already way too well rewarded for playing that mode, especially given that they also tend to be the ones hosting the matches. Personally, my last 2 forays into the Conclave had me running into a limbo host on what was an, obviously, throttled connection. Why would any newcomer in their right mind bother with a mode where you are subject to the whims of players bluff and kid cheating?
Blatantly. That is some nice word. I can see this guy loves to type. PvP barely had any effort if you compare to PvE. And it has been more than 2 years since DE doesn't give a about it. And the PvP community had tried to point most of the issues available on Conclave. It just requires one willing person there to change some values and boom. Magic happens, man.
Lunaro and Conclave were a gift to PvP fans in a game with barely any PvP fans. And when DE even broke with the idea of adding a low drop rate item to give PvE fans access to Conclave rewards, the Conclaves had kittens about it.
Yeah, just the same way PvE players had and still have kittens about exclusivity to PvP content on Warframe.
Now y'all want to plug more money into it. Negative. Conclaves need to fund that themselves directly then. Get a quote from DE for what it would cost to have these changes you want and give DE the money for that directly. I don't want another dime of the money I plug into this game monthly going to Conclave.
No comments. Next print.
What? Conclave rewards are a joke 9 out of 10 times. If you play for the rewards, you are gonna be disappointed. Also, barely any resources go into Conclave, as evidenced by Delaware's content neglect of it for the past years. The most effort that goes in is just changing a single number on weapons or frames.
If you are just playing it for fun, then you have everything you need now. Which means you shouldn't be demanding more to begin with. No resources should be being plugged into it because it has no audience worth mentioning. What? DE should invest development time to please the 1% of the player base in a mod they already told you 8 years ago they had no real plans to support. Negative. Go to DE offering to pay for the improvements directly then. It's a free-to-play game, but if you want something specific commission, offer to pay for it. We both know y'all ain't gonna do that. Instead, what y'all are gonna do is pitch more fit to get more stuff just like I have for the last 8 years. DE took Conclave's suggestions. DE implemented what y'all asked for, and it still flopped. Enjoy what you have and stop asking for more. Because you shouldn't even have that.
That guy lives in a different universe, cause the way he speaks is like DE gave some quality attention to Conclave and nothing is wrong with it at all. Pity. I wouldn't mind spending money on PvP if there were an opportunity to contribute financially, but you guys on PvE spend money and still complains about the current content drown situation. LOL, not trying to prove a point. Just saying.
Might as well say you shouldn't fix X content cause I don't play it.
No. I'm saying they shouldn't bother fixing content that nobody plays. PvP is probably the biggest waste of dev time DE has spent so far, counting Conclave bracing, dark sectors, and the asset development for all of the above.
That is boring. If you wonder why PvP haven't got any attention, I'll take a guess and tell you that the community is one of the main factors that stops them from focusing on it in peace. So the group that makes more noise and bring them more money, of course, will be pleased at all costs. Next print.
Conclave just needs balancing and it would be good. It would be good, I think, if DE tried to cater to both PvP and PvE groups. Then more types of people will want to play Warframe knowing that there's a thing for everyone to get into. PvP play their thing and PvE people do their thing. Or one side try something new, explore outside their boundaries. A compromise and variety is needed for Warframe, I personally think.
Shh. The 10 Conclave players get real salty when you bring up the facts. LOL, that is not a fact, unfortunately. That is just a parroted opinion. The thing is simple. PvP community grows slowly cause most veterans are tired of the same after years. And new players are struggling on Conclave cause people are cheese-eyeing and having a bad sportsmanship. So of course, the vicious cycle never changes, and people did rather make private matches instead of dealing it from DE's neglect.
Us players didn't buy all this plat and grinding mods, do not even use them on other players. It's like, what's the point? I was playing this game all for the excitement of PvP to see once I was a decent level to do so it's inactive. I have been dreaming like a game like Warframe to be released, but I am very disappointed with PvP modes. I feel like I wasted my time and skill. Effort could be used for a better PvP grinding game.
I don't think so. The majority of Warframe players are simply not interested in PvP. It would be a waste of development time to make more game modes hardly anyone would play.
Pretty much, yeah. Conclave has been untouched for years. DE focuses mainly on PvE as PvP is not favorable by most players. So just find another PvP game, as I doubt they would touch Conclave anytime soon, seeing that their main focus PvE needs more work.
Hi, welcome to the forums. There are still people playing, but if you grinded mods and expect to use them in the Conclave, that is not how it works. While there are some that work in both modes, PvP balance is mostly separate. There are two ways to fight others with PvE mods. However, there is a Dojo dual room. You can invite others to the simulacrum and enable friendly fire. I don't know how the situation is on XD1 right now. You might want to join the community Discord to arrange some time to play with others.
That link still works, and I'll also leave it on this video's description, so you guys can find people to play against publicly or privately. Bear in mind, privated or invitation-only lobbies won't give you standing for PvP. Gotta go public, unfortunately.
Not entirely true. The way it's set up, PvE changes bleed into it and make balance worse over time, sadly. It got quite a bit worse with the old blood, and only a few things have been addressed since then. That's a cop-out. With how the community is these days, PvE is never good enough, no matter what the devs do. See all the threads on Straw Path, and the two prior major updates. Shrugs.
The only thing I don't agree is the part when he says, a bit worse. XD.
The one we have is already too much. There are simply way better PvP games out there, and DE definitely doesn't have resources to top any of them.
DE has resources to deal with. Yes. They just don't want to. Wanna know an example? Last week, PvP had Inaro's Prime available. After the last two updates, they removed him. Why? I don't f***ing know. But I know that someone there spent some time to change 120 on codes. So why the person who removed Inaros couldn't remove Telos Voltace or adjust it back to knockdown only? 1. PvP is not for everyone. If the player is a snowflake, better stay in PvE. Playing with brain-dead AI in PvP, the player will get his ass spanked hard like in any other PvP. 2. PvP requires something called skill. That quick reaction time requires the player develop a strategy with their key binding and reordering of his tool set. 3. PvP demands patience and skill building. It's the land of the veterans. If the player want to get into it, first get the mods and build up the frame, so the player stay competitive. 4. PvP will make entitled players uncomfortable, because they will know how bad they are at the true parkour and aiming. Those requires practice and skill sharpening, not mod builds. Why PvP is not getting up? 1. Needs dedicated servers on console and PC. 2. Needs matchmaking parameters and a lobby so people select their match and style. 3. Selections should not be random. 4. PvP is not fully developed on fun versus mode.
What do you mean, Virginia?
The player should have access of all the mods outside the PvP matches. 5. PvP can become feasible with Micromechs, K-Drive racing, Archwing racing and so on. At least that will improve serene gameplay mechanics on such vehicles. Okay, you lost me there on 5.
We need dark sectors back. I agree, Conclave should have an extra gamer mode, or even the actual gamer mode capture the flag without bullet jump. I'm sure much more people will actually play Conclave. Add some decent rewards. Stop with those Kuva rewards. And make this new gaming mode and everyone happy. God tier Conclave players will still playing. And people who not want an ultra flash and tricky PvP will play a thing slow and chill.
Sigh.
Oh, damn. That's what Conclave is. PvP? Never even thought about PvP in this game. LOL.
Would be cool to somehow PvP 4 versus 4 on planes of Eidolon or Orvalis.
PvP will always be It is unavoidable.
I'm done.